Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over a handful of POIs that are pretty easy to loot and pretty profitable as well. To qualify for this list, a POI must be very easy to clear, so I'm talking between 0 tier and 3 at max. And I'm not on about the end of POI loot room, I'm on about the loot that you pick up along the way. That includes things that you can wrench down and break as you go through. With that said, let's jump straight in. First on the list is Navezgane Public Library. This is technically a tier 0 POI, although this one in particular is in the Wasteland, making it a tier 2, and it is filled with fantastic loot, considering it's very easy to clear out. I believe it's the same for all, but I'm not 100% certain, but there is an ATM outside, which is pretty nice for some extra dukes. If you make your way through the interior with a wrench, there are plenty of things that you can take apart and carry away with you, which is really nice. There's even some ore nodes, which, although they're not the best for looting, it's still cool that they're here. There is a cracker book / library right through this door, and although the shelves aren't full, you will find books all over the place. So it's definitely worth paying this one a visit, even if you just come here for the books and magazines down here and then leave. If you come upstairs, there is a book / coffee shop, and it doesn't have all that much inside, but again, with a wrench, there's a few nice things. However, if you carry on and venture upstairs, there are loads of computers, there's more bookshelves, and while not all of them have books on, some of them most certainly do. And if you get to this point in the POI, which is the very end of it, there is a pretty nice loot room with some cracker book loot boxes and some magazines and books on the sides. This one is great for those who are looking to level up specific skills, but don't really fancy taking on any of the harder POIs, such as the Crackerbook HQ. Up next is Piggy Bank. This one I have featured in a video I made a while ago, so apologies if you've already seen it. It is a tier 2 POI, and it more than meets the criteria to make this list. In fact, it's probably one of the best ones in this video. What makes this place so good is the fact that there are ATMs dotted both inside and out of the POI. And as I'm sure everybody knows, if you break open an ATM, you get some money, which is very nice. If you make your way inside this place, then there's lots of stuff that you can break down using a wrench, which is also nice. I think there are roughly 5, maybe 6 ATMs in this place, which is really nice. Obviously you will need lockpicks, unless you're willing to sit here and chip away at them. So bring lockpicks. If you decide to make your way downstairs, then there are plenty of places where you can pick up some magazines. Not only that, there's a vault too. And somebody has saved us the job by blowing a hole through the side of the wall, so you can hop through and loot the contents here. This place does not take long to clear, and you can walk away with a considerable amount of money. Ransacked Shotgun Messiah is up next, and this one, although ransacked, it still has some goodies to be found. If you make your way inside, you'll have the general loot on the shelves, which is not that special. What is special is right behind the counter. There are some weapons racks, an armor rack, and a few nice bits to pick up. You can come here on day 1 because this is technically a tier 0 POI, so you're not going to find a lot of enemies roaming around this place, even if you do come across it in the Wasteland, which if you're on day 1, you shouldn't really be in the Wasteland anyway. On a completely unrelated note, there are a total of 2 different possible spawn points for vending machines. When a vending machine spawns, there's a chance for it to work, there's also a chance for it to just be a broken piece of crap too, so keep that in mind. But if you make your way upstairs and down the hall, there's the other set of vending machines, and what this could be really good for is a base. Because if you're willing to spend the extra dukes, you can have your very own shopping centre within your home, which is always quite nice. If you do come to this location, make sure you hop up and make your way up to the top of the shop here, because you will find some extra loot, which is always quite nice, and it's very easy to miss. As for the rest of the POI, there are a few dribs and drabs that you can pick up. If you come here with a wrench, you can get some paper in that as well, which is not the best, not the worst. Considering how little effort is needed to clear this place, it's a good one to visit early on, should you find one in a playthrough. Mini Market is good for both new players and old players as well. This tier 0 POI has plenty of drinks machines where you can come in and grab some water, so if you are new and you're thirsty, not a bad place to visit. If you are a more seasoned player, then you can break these down with a wrench or impact driver and walk away with a hefty amount of materials. Be sure to check behind the main counter because there is a safe here. It's always worth looking in because you never know. If you make your way round, or even through, in my case, the cold beverages, then you reach the storeroom, and while there's not a lot here, again, if you come here with a wrench, it's not bad, because there's very few zombies knocking around. This one, you can be in and out in just a few minutes, making it pretty profitable for very little work. Rogue Nerd's Refuge is another one that I've featured on an old video I made. This one is a really large POI, and technically it's tier 0, so great to visit early on. This is also a pretty nice place to call home because it has most of the basic resources already here for you. The main reason why this place makes this list is because of the amount of computers and light fittings that can be broken down using a wrench, that and the library. Now, I don't think there's as many books and magazines available here as there are in the Navezgane public library, but considering it is a tier 0, any book is better than no book. Making your way upstairs from the bottom floor, there's another little library area. There's also a little office area where you can come and loot, which is, again, quite nice. Overall, I would say this place is better suited to someone who has a wrench or a ratchet, anything that can break things down, really. The loot in this one is pretty nice, but I would say the main reason why you'd come here is to break everything down with a wrench. Moving on, but sticking with the school theme for another entry, we have Montgomery Public School. This is another tier 0 POI, although for me it is a tier 2 because I am in the wasteland. With it being a school, it does have a library upstairs, which is quite nice. There's a fair few books lying around that you can grab. Also, if you're willing to hop from classroom to classroom, you'll find all sorts of stuff like lockers and computers and bags, loads of stuff you can just break down and take away with you, which is always very nice and very welcome. This is quite a large POI, so I would recommend sticking down a storage chest out front and spending a day or two looting it and breaking everything down, and you'll walk away a pretty wealthy individual, especially early on. I'm going to finish off with the most difficult one on this list, and that is Working Stiff Superstore. This is a tier 3 POI, and it is filled with all things tool related. Just like all the other entries, bring a wrench because there's lots of good stuff that can be broken down. But what makes this one different is the fact that there are plenty of crates both around the back and on the roof that you can search to get some tools. And no matter what kind of build you're going for, you are going to need tools. If you just want to cut to the main loot area, then it's in this tent on the roof, which you can access by either going through the POI and up through that hatch at the bottom, or just climb up the side of the building. No judgment here. Making your way in, you'll get your typical tier 3 loot, which is quite nice. Couple that with all of the stuff that you can break apart and pick up from inside the store, and it's a very lucrative POI to visit. Since it is a tier 3 POI, if you are new or inexperienced, or like me and are just terrible, then proceed with caution early on. But even then, for the most part, this one is not all that difficult. There's plenty of open space for you to get the zombies to follow you and do a lovely little undead conga line through the store while you pick them off one by one. So I hope you found this video useful. There are a lot of POIs in 7 Days to Die that are easy to clear and have a good amount of loot inside. I've just scratched the surface with this video. If it does well, or anybody wants to see another one, then there's plenty more available. As always, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.